What is up, everybody? Welcome to another fresh take. Vicky, how are you doing?
I am good. I'm over here realizing that I was mad dumb after watching this episode.
Why you say that?
Okay, well then we're just gonna get into it. Let's get into it
Yeah,
then.
let's get into it. No setup this time. Why you saying
You know,
that?
obviously, spoilers. All right.
Yeah.
I was today years old when I realized that this Marvel universe, this whole time, ain't never said her name.
You didn't realize that?
In my head, I was always calling her Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So even though they said Wanda, in my head, I was saying Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So that's who she is. So that's what I was saying. I said, I've been saying this whole time. How many years has she been in the Marvel Universe?
Since 2015?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
6 years, I've been saying Scarlet Witch because that's who she is.
Yeah.
At no point in time did I not realize that they never actually said her name. Because saying Wanda, they say, Cap or Steve.
Yeah.
How many
Heidi.
times did they call Iron Man to his face, his friend? So,
Yeah.
so calling people by their real name, fine, because that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Versus actually, calling them by their superhero name. Like, how many times did they say the Black Widow?
Yeah, like the only people who call them that are the government types.
Exactly. So I did not think anything of it until, obviously, jumping to the very end of the episode. They were like, oh, I know what you are. You are the Scarlet Witch. And I was like, wait, hold on. They ain't never said this chick the whole time. And I know it was, intellectual properties, blah, blah, blah. Who had it, who now has it, yada, yada, yada. So they can't really use the name legally this whole time. But you don't really think about that because in your head, you're calling her Scarlet Witch because that's who she is.
Yeah. I mean, the closest they came was when in Age of Ultron, Tony called her a witch. That's the closest they came, but they never called her that. Well, so this episode starts out with Agatha pretty much showing her why she's not to be messed with. And I found it very interesting, to say the least, that they started with the Salem witch trials, but they weren't what you think they were. I thought that was very interesting start off, basically. So basically, Agatha did something she wasn't supposed to do, and she messed around and killed her coven, including her mother.
Her coven.
Yeah, coven. What did I say? Coven? Coven, yeah. So
yeah, she was practicing dark magic, and I guess her coven was light witches. As simple as that. So that goes against their basic, tenets or whatever. Versus if she was in a dark magic coven, she would have been good.
Yeah, so
probably wouldn't have lived, but she would have been good.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, okay, that was a very interesting way to start the episode off. And for some reason, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, did I miss something? Then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, they kind of have to show how she got her power because nobody knows who she is. But it didn't dawn on me that this is 1693. And I'm like, okay, so she's that old. All right. But basically she wants to know how she's able to do this. So we kind of get for this episode a backstory-ish kind of because a lot of it is basically filling in the gaps from Age of Ultron, filling in the gaps from other Marvel stuff. So I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, so that's what they're doing with this. But they kind of may have hinted that they were mutants. And because basically she said, oh, well, you stopped that bomb. Because the whole thing, especially the first sequence where you find out why she has a love of sitcoms and why her accent keeps going in and out. And the whole thing, like in Age of Ultron, she said the bomb hit. The first bomb killed the parents. The second bomb hit and they were stuck in there for 2 days and it never went off. They're basically saying that she stopped it. They thought it was a dub, but she actually stopped it, which in that case means she's a mutant. And then they went to the Hydra facility where they were experimenting on her with the Infinity Stone, and it didn't kill her, but it killed everybody else, and it didn't kill her and her brother. Well, that's because they're mutants. It just unlocked their powers all the way. That's pretty much what it did. So they essentially, in my opinion, just pretty much said, "Hey, dude, you got mutants. They're here." So, ta-da! Basically,
Spirit fingers.
yeah,
Woo!
they basically said that they are mutants, and that's what I took from it. Basically, the majority of the episode, honestly, though, like I don't think Agatha's bad, but I do think she has ulterior motives. But I think the issue still is hanging is that somebody else is there, and that's who they're going to have to deal with, as well as Hayward and his, you know, crack team of government douches. I mean, that's the only way I can describe them at this point. Uh, for the most part, I thought the episode was actually done really well. I thought they did a very good job of setting up and moving the story forward, as well as filling in the gaps from some stuff. Now, some people, they did say that there was they actually retconned some stuff, and I don't think they retconned the stuff from Civil War. I just think that was just an extra scene that we didn't get to see, because they were talking about when they went to the Avengers compound and Vision was trying to talk to, which I thought was a really sweet moment, because Vision, it was trying to be human,
Mm-hmm.
and because he just didn't understand stuff, so he was trying to be human, and I thought that was a very interesting little touch they did, because she was full on pissed. But if you go back and watch Civil War, and if you watch, if you go back and watch Civil War, you realize that I think it was Cap that was the one that was able to calm her down when she was feeling like that. And so I think what they showed in that sequence was Vision doing the same, trying to do the same thing, trying to, be more human like, I guess. I'm guessing that's where my thought process went with that. So I thought that was a really cool scene. It also showed Malcolm in the Middle, which is like, okay, that's why she did the whole Malcolm in the Middle thing. So it actually put in perspective a lot of stuff. The only thing that really makes me hate Hayward now is the fact that he said that she stole the body. She never did. She
Ain't
basically,
that what always happens? You walking around the store, they found you talking about you stole something, and you ain't steal nothing. The whole time they done stole something.
yeah. So basically, she goes to Sword and like, look, I want his body. I'm his next of kin. Which now it makes sense to me how they were able to get Vision's body. If this happened, if they got the body during the 5-year gap, that makes sense, because Wakanda was probably in disarray because Shuri and T'Challa were snapped. So you got Okoye pretty much running the country.
Man,
So she was
Angela
probably
Bassett
like,
holds things down.
but we don't know if she was snapped or not. The only one we know that wasn't snapped is
Nah, it's Angela Bassett.
yeah.
They ain't snapping her.
Angela Bassett starts to disintegrate. She be like, "No, I ain't." And it
Exactly.
just goes,
She just flexes her arms. They're like, "You good? You good, ma?"
yeah, you go. My bad, wrong person. I didn't mean you. I
I
meant
ain't
the person
mean
beside
you.
you.
Yeah, my bad.
My bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Snaps backs away slowly from
Yeah.
Angela Bassett.
Snap back away slowly and go into somebody else's room.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was one of those situations where now I can see how they were able to get it, because they were probably like, look, just take it, because we ain't got time to worry about that. Just going to go, because Shuri ain't there to fix it, so just going to go. They probably just got it out of their country, so that makes sense. So that whole situation, which it's funny to me because she was actually being nice, because I'm like, she really ain't got to ask y'all jack. She could just rip that building apart if she wanted to.
Exactly.
So, bruh that's at the desk, you know who she is. Be agreeable. Just be agreeable. Because it's not going to end well for you. Which she basically shows a little bit of power just by saying, he was like, oh, I got to buzz you in. She's like, nah, I got it. And just basically made him see like, yeah, I kind of messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting that what she actually did was she busted the window out, but she came down. She pretty much semi broke down, and then she just left. Um, Now when she gets back into her car, there was a card on the seat. Now I watched it again. I watched it a couple times, and because I was like, "Who sent that card?" But apparently, somebody I was reading online that somebody said that that was Vision that did that before, all that stuff went down. So he had already bought that plot in Westview way before that
Of
all happened.
course,
So I'm
duh.
like, okay, well, it just came out of nowhere. So I was like, okay, that's weird that it would come out of nowhere. So she goes to that plot and she just straight up loses it. And when she loses it, she creates everything. And that's when Agatha realizes this is chaos magic, House of M reference. And if it's chaos magic, her kids should not be real. And that's the part I think is going to mess with people next week. Because at the end of the episode, you see Agatha holding her two boys pretty much by the throat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there like, why ain't they using their powers? I'm like, it ain't like she's like has a tight. It's not wrapped all the way around her neck. It's just like holding them in place. So I was like, okay, why aren't they using their powers? Then I thought about it, I'm like, they're not real. So if they do this like House of M, this is gonna end. It's gonna be a really sad ending. It's gonna be a really sad ending.
Well, I mean, it's a sad ending no matter what, because ain't nothing real.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
it's
that's
not. She went into denial and created her own reality, which I talk about to my students about being careful about going into such a deep denial that you create your own reality, because that's really bad and dangerous. She actually has the power to literally create her own reality. And now when she wakes up from it and fully embraces and everything goes away, well, there you go.
well, that's the thing. I'm like, this show does a very good job of like dealing with grief and like the issues if you don't deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't like, and I don't mean deal with it in a bad way. So don't get me like, oh, you mean like no? I mean like you have to deal with it, overcome it. You know, they do a good job of showing that, and like the whole thing with House. One of the big takeaways from the House of M comic was the fact that she was grieving bad, and when you grieve like that and you're that powerful, it may unlock something that's really worse, and that's what happened in House of M. Um, this one, while not following House of M to a T, is actually doing a very good job of taking the theme from House of M and working it into the show. That's why I think this is just going to be. I hope people are ready because next week should be jacked up.
Yeah, prepare for the ride.
Yeah, next week should be really jacked up, especially since we got that stinger. We got another stinger at the end of the episode. Apparently, there's a white supremacist version of Vision. So there's a white Vision in the comics. He's pretty much Vision without the personality. So he's 100% logic, and that's going to be terrifying when you see it. If they play it right, which I think they will, you'll see why like having a AI controlled situation is a bad situation for all involved. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully though they'll let us see our version of Vision, which ain't real, beat the brakes off of the white version of Vision, just because the last Vision is supposed to be very, very powerful, but in Infinity War they beat him. They beat him. They beat him around. So I'm hoping he gets like some a little bit of time to shine a little bit on the action side. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I like Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany does a great job. Honestly, I mean, he's a great actor. I don't know why he doesn't. I'm hoping they don't get rid of him. Hopefully, I hope they kind of keep him around a little bit because I actually like Paul Bettany. I don't know how they're gonna make that work, but I hope they find a way. But yeah, this episode was actually pretty good. But the only thing was there wasn't a commercial. I'm kind of feeling sad about that. I miss the commercials. I like the commercials. I like the commercials. I don't know why. I like because they're so ridiculous and dark at the same time that I kind of miss them a little bit. I kind of want real commercials like that that are not that aren't real, but just like messed up. Um, but yeah, overall, I enjoyed the episode. I've been telling people like, look, I understand why y'all did not like the first two episodes, and I understand why you would be mad at me for recommending it. But once you get past that, and everybody that's been able to get past those first two episodes have come back and said thank you because this show is awesome. But yeah, this is one of those episodes that got better every week, and I am appreciative of that. Very appreciative of that. Now all I need to see is Monica show out next week, get her full power set. We found out who the real villain is because I still think Pietro is Mephisto or Nightmare. I think he's one of the two, and we still got to find out who that big cameo is supposed to be that Paul Bettany was talking about. So I'm wondering who the last cameo is, because he's supposed to show up in the final episode. So there's that. Anything else you want to add, Vicky?
No, overall, I enjoyed the episode. I look forward to seeing how it comes to, well, obviously not a super end, but the season finale.
Yep. And of course, we will be here next week for that. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment. Let us know what you guys thought of the episode. And who do you think who do you think the big cameo will be in the season finale? Let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace out, peeps.
Bye.